Or is this team has yet to prove, and I hate to say it, Colts fans, but they have yet to prove that they are capable of beating good football teams. Now, I define a good football team as somebody that either has a record that's a couple games north of 500, or just in terms of their overall roster construction, you know that they are gifted. The opportunities the Colts have had so far, the Seahawks to open the season. Again, I'm willing to make that a push. I'm willing to completely ignore that because that's your first game with Carson Wentz under center. You're just familiarizing yourself as an offense. You are familiarizing yourself really on both sides of the ball, trying to get things squared away for the season. I know it's a home opener, but in addition to that, Seattle's a pretty good football team, or at least they were in theory going into the season before Russell Wilson got injured. On top of all that, you move to week 2, you bring into town the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams, a proverbial preseason Super Bowl contender and Super Bowl pick by many to start the season. That game a little bit closer than the box score indicates. The Colts had opportunities in that one, but they falter and are unable to close the deal. You go to Tennessee, Titans win by 9, pretty much in the driver's seat for the entirety of that ball game, save for a nice second quarter response from the Colts. But other than that, Tennessee pretty much in command of that ball game. And then the last couple of weeks for the Colts, you get that first win against the Dolphins. Regrettably, that was a game that I picked against Indianapolis. I felt like this was going to be a revenge game scenario for Jacoby Brissett. It obviously was not. You got to give credit there not only to Carson Wentz, but also to the Colts defense, who held the Dolphins in check throughout that ball game. Then you look to the big bugaboo, and this is where perhaps if you're a Colts fan looking for silver lining, you can make the argument that, well, Jim, you look at this Colts team and you say they can't beat good football teams. They were in command against Baltimore for 3.5 quarters or 3 quarters throughout that primetime affair. And I would say, yes, you're right. I cannot dispute that. The Colts look like a sharp, surefire playoff contender, ready to make that next leap, get back to the playoffs, maybe make a little bit of noise. And then all hell broke loose, and you ended up losing 31-25 in overtime in one of debatably the worst collapses of the season, not just for the Colts, I mean across the entire NFL. Your other 2 wins coming into this ball game are against the Houston Texans, who are an abomination of a franchise, truly are. That's a game that you should win both times on this schedule until they figure just a ton of stuff out that just goes deeper. We don't have time to fully go in to all the problems with the Houston Texans. And then the San Francisco 49ers. That game is where I'm willing to budge a little bit. Going into that contest, the Colts and the 49ers were on very similar trajectories. They both viewed their division, they both viewed their playoff chances, rather, being on the line and up for grabs going into that ball game. You lose that game if you're the Colts. I feel like personally, your road to the postseason is almost completely wiped out because you're going to have to root against Tennessee throughout the rest of their schedule. And there are some tough games still on there, but your biggest thought was that the Titans would have some bumps in the road against the Buffalo Bills or against the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, before we go into that aspect of the Titans' last 2 performances, let's go back to that 49ers game. This was a contest where even if you're a critic of the Colts, which I have been at times, you can't say much against them. They played as complete of an effort as you've seen all season. Again, I know the Niners are now 2-4 because of that loss, but they were in there with a chance to go up to 500, and they were in there with a chance to pretty much knock out Indianapolis's postseason hopes. Colts got Carson Wentz, 2 touchdowns, 150 yards passing. Jonathan Taylor was sensational. 18 carries, 107 yards, just under 6 yards per carry. And you're going to need that from him again in order to walk away with a victory today. Additionally, they kept Garoppolo in check for the 49ers. He turns it over twice this past Sunday night. Has 2 picks to 1 touchdown, only 181 yards, and the Colts answered the bell. But again, the times they've answered the bell to this point, except for 3 quarters in that Baltimore game, have been against porous football teams. They have been. And you can't be victims of what your schedule is. You can only play the opponents that are on the docket. But the Colts have had opportunities against high-quality teams, and they have yet to show out. I will give you a spoiler now, and I've been getting a little bit of flack on this on social media. You can give me a follow on Twitter at the J Cook. Kind of the territory that I expected to have following this pick was I picked Tennessee Titans. Now, so did Kevin Bowen, but nobody is going after KB in his mentions. But again, you can follow me on Twitter at the J Cook if you also want to throw some frustration with me as well. But I picked against them. I think the Titans, what they have been able to do over the last 2 weeks is just too much of an advantage to go Indianapolis' way. Now, Tennessee's defense has not been immortal. It's not been the Mike Vrabel setups that we're used to seeing. They've struggled a lot, particularly in their secondary, but they're able to win in a shootout against Buffalo. They pick off Josh Allen once, this about 2 weeks ago. Derrick Henry, though, was phenomenal. 20 carries, 143 yards, an average of 7 yards per carry. The man is not human. He just isn't. He is unlike any running back that I've seen in a long time and is just a dominant force week in and week out. Oh, by the way, 3 touchdowns on the ground as well for Derrick Henry. Ryan Tannehill also getting into the end zone in that game, scoring 1 touchdown with his legs. And when we talked with DeForest Buckner, myself and Kevin Bowen did on the Fan Morning Show earlier this week, when we spoke with him, he stressed to us the importance of getting to Ryan Tannehill early and often throughout the day, but on top of that, not letting plays get extended with Ryan Tannehill's legs. That was an imperative aspect of the Colts' first matchup with the Titans, where you would be so close to getting getting Tennessee off the field, ending a drive, and Ryan Tannehill would get it done with his legs. I saw him do it against Buffalo. I saw him do it again against Kansas City. It is part of his repertoire now. And so often, people around the league, whether it is critics or whether it is coaching staffs, and they don't say this publicly, but they've underestimated Ryan Tannehill. And it's been kind of the knock on him since he's been in Tennessee. Everybody views him as this mediocre, broken quarterback that was in Miami that wasn't really able to accomplish a whole lot. And they've ignored what he's been able to do in Tennessee. This is a team that is 2 years removed from the AFC Championship game. And they've had more division title success since the Colts have, as Indianapolis is, as we well know, drought continues in that department. So this is a Titans team that just has continued to prove people wrong over the years, whether it's Tannehill or whether it's looking at the Titans as a team that is the Titans of old, that the Colts are used to running over week in and week out. Now, just because I took the Titans does not mean that, A, obviously the Colts can't win this ball game, but B, that the Colts aren't going to win this ball game, because the Colts have the weapons necessary to get this done. You have plenty of run stoppers on this defense, and on top of that, you have a running back that maybe not as big, maybe not as physically overpowering, but you have a running back that's just as gifted in Jonathan Taylor. And that's kind of the big storyline that I am focused on today in terms of looking at microcosms for where the Colts can execute little things that are going to pay out in big dividends as this game rolls on. That starts with monitoring Derrick Henry to an extent. However, and I talked about this earlier this week on the Dan Dockett Show. As some of you may know, I do produce the Dan Dockett Show weekdays here on The Fan, noon to 3. But I mentioned this to Dan on Friday, that with the way the Titans have success on offense, Julio Jones out, by the way, today for the Titans. That's a weapon, at least off the chessboard, that Mike Vrabel and company are able to utilize. But the bigger issue is what Derrick Henry is able to do is likely going to happen either way. That's not to say completely give up on him. That's not to say, oh, all right, let him run free. Here you go. Here you go, Derrick. Table for 2. Would you like a touchdown with that, please? No, I'm not saying that. What I am saying is Taylor's likely going to get his. He is going to eat today. There's not much you can do in that regard. But you cannot let Ryan Tannehill beat you again with his legs. Tannehill has been a solid quarterback throughout his tenure in Tennessee. You can make an argument that maybe he's going to get his too. After all, it's quarterback's league. There's going to be opportunities for him. But you could have made those same comments about Garoppolo last week. You also could have been making similar statements for Jacoby Brissett, the way the Colts were playing back at the start of the month. I'm not going to say you could have against the Texans. Davis Mills was never going to beat you unless you just came in there and sleptwalked, and the score was indicative of that. 31-3, it was a complete onslaught by the Colts, and outside of their complete performance against the 49ers last week, aka the following week, it was one of the Colts' best performances of the season. But it's not going to be as easy today against Tennessee. This is not a team with pushovers on the other side of the ball. It's just not. And in particular, it's all going to start up front with Derrick Henry. As of right now, this coming from the Colts Wire, T.Y. Hilton still questionable to go today, as is Xavier Rhodes, as is Braden Smith. But again, no Julio Jones out there for the Titans. And that is a big loss for Tennessee, and that is something that the Colts need to be able to take advantage of, because now more than ever, the major piece for this Tennessee team is going to be Derrick Henry and A.J. Brown. And A.J. Brown has been, at least in terms of this season, A.J. Brown has been as good as anybody in this win streak for the Titans, and in particular in their last few games against two of the I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this. Two of the viewed top teams in the AFC. The Bills are undoubtedly a contender. My Chiefs, I don't know. I'm not ready to say they're not, because this team at their best can still put points on the board like nobody else in the league. And in theory, you clean up some turnovers here and there, they're right back in the swing of things. My point is, though, going into the season, both those teams were viewed as contenders. Kansas City is still the defending AFC champions, and the Titans wiped the floor with them a week ago. In all facets, the Titans were the better team from start to finish against Kansas City a week ago, and they, much like the Colts, have put together their best effort of the year the previous week headed into this matchup. But I mentioned A.J. Brown. 8 catches, 133 yards, 1 touchdown against Kansas City. The dude was feasting. And you can expect, in terms of the way they target him in this offense, similar target shares and similar opportunities for A.J. Brown going into this game. So you have to worry about A.J. Brown on the outside, and you have to worry about Derrick Henry throughout this one, because that is where their offense lives and breathes. You look at every big matchup that the Tennessee Titans have been a part of the last couple of years. It's all been behind Derrick Henry's legs and Derrick Henry's ability to wear defenses down, extend drives, and thrive in the moment. So that is my biggest thing off the top. Let's review a bit of our keys. Jonathan Taylor, I need north of 100 yards today. I know it's another big ask, but I view Jonathan Taylor as the biggest piece to the Colts' offensive success. Because if he does not have a big day, I don't see where you're able to go dual threat with this. Carson Wentz is going to be tested throughout this ball game. Mike Vrabel, a disciple of Bill Belichick, is very talented. Not quite as well as the hoodie, but he's very talented at being able to take away what the opposing team does well. Not as good, again, as Bill Belichick, but he is able to operate in that same facet and try to make you do things you're not comfortable doing. Does that mean they're necessarily going to shut down Jonathan Taylor? No, but you can bet any amount of money that he's going to be a point of emphasis on the Titans' defensive look throughout this contest. So I need north of 100 yards from Jonathan Taylor today. And in fact, I need a couple scores. I need a couple scores from the young fella. I do. I know it's a tough ask. I know I'm asking a lot out of him, but he can handle it. There's been no challenge to this point in the season that Jonathan Taylor has shied away from, or that I think that he is incapable of handling. The other big key, and it's just on the Colts side to open things up today, the other massive key for Indianapolis is not letting Ryan Tannehill beat you with his legs. I stress this in the early portions of the start of this show. He did it time and time again when these two teams met a couple weeks ago, and they were drive killers. They were momentum killers. They were game-changing opportunities that the Colts were unable to capitalize on. And if you think that the Colts have any chance in winning this ball game, it's going to come from not letting that happen, because Derrick Henry is one of those inevitable forces on the football field where there's only so much you can do about him. There is. You can hope that you're going to shut him down and maybe hold goals like, yeah, we're going to hold him under 70 yards today. It's just not going to happen. Like the Chiefs, say what you will, and I'm not going to stray too much on this because that is a spot close to my heart, but it's a fact that is necessary for today's show. The Chiefs held him to 86 yards a week ago, and it did not matter. It didn't matter because Ryan Tannehill was either extending plays or A.J. Brown was having just a heck of a field day against the Chiefs defense. That, again, they have their own issues. That's not the purpose of the Way Too Early pregame show, but it is an important note. 86 yards of total offense from Derrick Henry, no touchdowns a week ago, and they won by 28. So I don't know. I don't know what you're hoping to see from the Titans from an offensive standpoint if he's struggling. 27-3 was the final in that Chiefs ball game. And again, it's Derrick Henry's likely going to get his. Derrick Henry did have the one touch. Appreciate that, YouTube chat. Derrick Henry did have one touchdown through the air, but that was it. Other than that, he was held in check, just 3 yards a carry. You heard the numbers from earlier on the season for Henry. That's well below his average. That's well below the dominance that he's had. Ryan Tannehill had 270 total yards of offense, had a touchdown run, and also threw for one touchdown in that win against Tennessee. They're able to beat you in multiple ways. You need to key on areas where you feel like you can win those one-on-one matchups, where you feel like you can get Tennessee off the field, and that starts with controlling Ryan Tannehill's ability to get out of the pocket, forcing him into tough decision-making opportunities. That means bringing rush and winning battles in the trenches. Derrick Henry's going to get his. You have to live with that to some extent. Want to give a big shout-out to the YouTube chat with us in the Way Too Early pregame show. YouTube community, really appreciate you joining us as always. Jerry Ballard, good morning to you. Sean Rickard, good morning to you as well. Really appreciate the YouTube chat being involved with us here on Halloween. Happy Halloween to you all here on a Colts Sunday. This is the Way Too Early pregame show. Again, I am your host. You can follow me on Twitter at the J Cook. We're going to have a massive day for you. JMV will be at Bullseye. He'll be getting you ready for kickoff today. You'll also have the ride to kick off as well. And then Matt Taylor on the call doing a wonderful job, as always, with Rick Venturi. But the Way Too Early pregame show gets you started and kicks off your coverage before every Colts game, 6 to 8 a.m., our typical feel right here on The Fan. Stay with us. Plenty more to come here on the Way Too Early pregame show. 93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
Find the right hire right now. Indeed helps you attract, screen, and interview quality candidates all in one place. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Lasting joint pain relief without surgery, without drugs, without downtime. It's here now. Regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics. This is the most exciting medical development in years, and it's now available here. I'm Kevin Bowen, and I'm here to tell you about these remarkable regenerative treatments that encourage your own body to help heal the damaged tissue in your joints. If you've been struggling with knee, back, shoulder, hip pain, arthritis pain of any kind, you need to check out this exciting natural alternative that can get your life back. I'm talking biological therapies that go to work healing the source of the pain and provide long-lasting results. Think about it. Treatment for chronic joint pain with no drugs, no steroids, no downtime, and no surgery. Call for a free consultation today. Learn more about all the regenerative options available to help you get pain-free. QC Kinetics, call now, 463-235-7160. That's 463-235-7160.
Dan Dockage here for PXG Clubs with PXG Clubs. Performance is in the bag. I just got custom fitted for my new set of PXG Clubs over at the Golf Club of Indiana. At Golf Club of Indiana, they have indoor and outdoor fitting bays with TrackMan technology to get your new PXG Clubs fully optimized for distance, accuracy, and feel. Get ready to increase your performance like me and enjoy the game with PXG Clubs. Schedule your custom fitting experience at pxg.com or 844-PLAY-PXG.
Hey, it's JMV for the absolute best. That's Lance and his local team at LD Smith Plumbing, 317-284-9526. I know from personal experience I had an emergency. No water, coldest morning of the year. On a Sunday morning, they're out and everything is great by noon. That's the folks you trust, because it's not like you're going to get any notice regarding your plumbing going haywire. It's LD Smith Plumbing, 317-284-9526. It's online for the best, ldsmithplumbing.com today.
If you owe the IRS back taxes, then get ready to pay up. The IRS has giant private collection agencies actively tracking down folks who owe the IRS. So if you think dodging them was stressful in the past, it's going to get a whole lot tougher. Optima Tax Relief has this advice. Don't wait. Solve your tax problems now before it's too late. Optima Tax Relief works to stop the demand letters, stop the aggressive collection actions, and stop the IRS collectors from targeting you. Ask Optima about the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands, and nobody knows this program better than they do. Optima is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, and they get results, having resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Get a fresh start. Call today for your free consultation.
Call 800-936-9033. 800-936-9033. 800-936-9033.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
My fiancé surprised me with an engagement ring from Shane Company. A simple solitaire ring with a beautiful oval diamond. I love it. I had a vision of what I wanted to do with the wedding bands to create my own look and add even more sparkle. Shane Company has so many options, so it was easy to bring it to life. I got 2 bands, I selected a diamond contour band to go on one side of my engagement ring and a delicate vintage band to go on the other. It's a unique ring stack and it fits my style. It's totally me. My fiancé got his wedding band at Shane Company too. I had no idea what he'd gravitate to because he never wears jewelry. He tried on lots of rings. Turns out he really liked a black tantalum band. It's masculine and unique, and it suits his personality. The wedding is really soon, and I can't wait to wear my gorgeous new rings every day.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
My grades were bad. I would get D's and C's.
I appeared to be doing good at my school life, but if you would see me at home, it would have been a completely different story.
I mean, it was just rough focusing on school when your mother is somebody you have to take care of. It got worse and worse and worse throughout the years.
There are students who need somebody.
They can trust someone, and it could be the first person they've ever trusted in their life.
Communities in Schools is lowering America's dropout rate by helping more than 1.3 million kids every year get whatever they need to succeed in school.
If something was going on at home, we would go just stop by Miss Liberty's office and talk to her.
Communities in Schools vouched for me when everyone else had lost hope.
You can help change the picture of education right here in your community and across the nation. Visit communitiesinschools.org.
I hear people say we can't save every kid, but I think that we can.
Lowe's Provember event is back, and we're thanking pros like you all month long. So when you become a Pro Loyalty member, now through November 24th, you'll get a welcome kit via mail, Lowe's bucket included. It's all part of Provember, going on online and in stores. Lowe's, the new home for pros. New accounts only. More terms and conditions apply while supplies last. Visit Lowe's.com/ProLoyalty for details. U.S. only.
Did you know there's dust floating around your home?
Really?
Yeah. Dust starts on hard surfaces like shelves and ceiling fans. And when you walk by, dust starts to move, compromising the quality of the air you and your family breathe.
So, what do I do?
Get Swiffer Heavy Duty Duster. Swiffer Heavy Duty Duster is the fast and easy way to trap and lock dust.
Before it gets into the air.
Exactly. So you can just... Swiffer Heavy Duty Duster, proud partner of the American Lung Association.
Hi, I'm Ariel Winter. If you're anything like me, your pets are not only your best friends, they're part of your family. American Humane, which has been rescuing animals like Cleo here for more than 100 years, has life-saving tips that can make a big difference before, during, and after disasters such as hurricanes, tornadoes, floods, or wildfires. So when disaster strikes, you want to be prepared to protect them. Be sure to microchip or tag your pets. Never leave them behind in a major crisis, and be sure to have an emergency kit ready in your home at all times with a pet crate or carrier, leash, blanket, ID, and medications, their water bowl, and 7 to 10 days worth of food. To find out how to protect your entire family during a disaster and help our best friends in their worst times, please visit AmericanHumane.org.
Denny Smith here for my friends at Sundown Gardens. Now save 30 to 50% on all nursery stock, including trees, shrubs, and bald and burlap trees, including evergreens. Their nursery staff has all the tips and techniques for planting, or better yet, ask about their installation services. The pumpkin patch, wagon rides, and kids' activities continue through Halloween. And mark your calendars for their big holiday open house weekend, November 20th and 21st. Sundown Gardens, 186th Street and Spring Mill Road, sundown.gardens.com.
Right now, it's a seller's market. I'm Patrick Keller with Crest Point Real Estate. Get your free home value estimate from me in 60 seconds at sellwithpatrick.com.
Join us on The Fan and listen to Jason Hammer on You Bet with Bet Rivers, 7 to 8 p.m. on Thursdays, where you can get all the betting advice you would ever need.
Hey, wake up. We're talking football. It's the Way Too Early pregame show on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
We are back here on the Way Too Early pregame show. Some technical difficulties with the YouTube camera. Fear not. We'll have it up here in just a few minutes. I am your host, Jimmy Cook. Follow me on Twitter at TheJCook. Shouts to the YouTube chat. Zojan in the house says his wife, Brome, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, is going to her first NFL game, it sounds like, from the Philippines, hoping for a 2-touchdown day from Jonathan Taylor, and apparently Zojan will be dressed up as Teen Wolf. I love it. This is the day as a Colts fan to get dressed up like you never have before, because it's a Halloween game. If there's ever a time to get loud and get rowdy, it is on the spookiest night of the year. Now, switching back to Colts Titans. And by the way, any costumes you have planned for the day, anything epic you have planned, tweet those at Eddie Garrison _ Eddie will retweet those, and he will. There's no prize to give out. I'm sorry. We don't have any prizes. We can give you a shout out on air, perhaps, but that is about it. Switching back to Colts Titans, and I've used this a couple of times, but it could very well be a spooky afternoon for Colts fans and their divisional hopes and their playoff hopes on top of that if they aren't able to put together a win today. I mentioned A.J. Brown a couple times as a big threat on the Titans side of things. Well, let's hear from Titans wide receiver A.J. Brown. He gave his thoughts on the Colts viewing this contest as a must-win ball game.
I heard a couple people talk about it, a couple coaches talk about it, but that's not really too much of my concern. I'm just trying to focus on my assignment and do what I need to do for the game. I try to take it 1 week at a time, not look ahead. We win, we will be sitting pretty, but that's not the focus. 1 week at a time, so I'm not too really worried about that.
And that's easy to say when your team is sitting at 5-2, right? I mean, it's a vast difference being 3-4 versus 5-2. It's not a must-win for Tennessee. It is a must-win for Indianapolis. The Titans have cushion. Now, the only way you could argue that it is a must-win for Tennessee is the fact that this loss is one of those double losses, right? It's a matchup where if you lose, not only are you putting the Colts back in a position at 500 to chase you down for the division title, but on top of that, it's now a game lost in the loss column. This is obvious. I know it's obvious, but I'm going to stress it to you just so you're aware of what I mean there. Once you lose a game and it goes on the loss side, you need the other team to stumble for that game to be made up. There's only a certain amount of games on the regular season slate. An additional game this year for sure, but again, you can't force the Titans to lose a game the rest of the way. You just can't. You have to hope that they stumble and fall, and then you are winning out as things go on. This is a double points day, right? It's a double opportunity to get a game back on the loss side and to get yourself in a closer position to win the division and ultimately go to the playoffs. Another name we've mentioned a lot this morning, or maybe not enough of, is Carson Wentz. Carson has been solid and more so throughout the last couple weeks, but in particular in the monsoon, the bomb cyclone, as so many of our hosts around the fan, God love them, have forgotten that name. And I'm not a big meteorology nerd, but those type of terms, they stay with me. The bomb cyclone that was out west in San Francisco at Levi Stadium. I thought for certain that the Colts would not be able to air it out, and they just showed on one of the local stations that big game-sealing touchdown from Michael Pittman Jr., Carson Wentz going hype about it. It was conditions that you'd think would be unable to launch the deep ball, to take shots downfield. And not only did Carson Wentz take those shots, but he did it for the most part exceptionally well. Now, Carson acknowledged that earlier in the week, and he addressed that to the media on not just his performance, but just the last 2 weeks, what he's seen from a Colts team and why it's given him and why it should give Colts fans a little bit of pleasant thoughts and pleasant mindsets going into this divisional matchup against the Titans.
It's definitely finishing the right way. You know, we go back a couple weeks and we definitely didn't. And so I think guys have kind of responded, and everybody's taking pride in, hey, it's the fourth quarter. It's time to go. Time to finish.
In that same breath, let's look at Coach Frank Reich's observations on what he's seen from Carson Wentz over the last couple of weeks.
I really like the way he's pushing the ball down the field, how aggressively he's thinking, but still making good decisions, checking it down when he needs to. He's doing a great job in the run game when we need to get to the right checks in the run game, managing the game the right way and making plays and being good situationally. And then last week we saw him make a couple plays with his feet, but without going crazy doing that. So we're trying to find that right balance.
I mean, you can't argue that. You're trying to find a proper balance with the quarterback you hope is your franchise leader. Now, some of this audio, I'll be straightforward with you. I like to have genuine reaction to these clips. Some of these clips throughout the week, as producer extraordinaire Eddie Garrison behind the ones and twos today, as he gets this sheet ready to roll, he'll observe it from all the shows. I observe some of this audio from the Dan Dockett show as we're putting things together throughout the week. But some of these clips I'm hearing for the first time with you. I like to have that initial reaction and be able to respond to it genuinely on the air. So here is, again, this is one I've not heard, but I'm very interested in his response on this. Frank Reich addresses if he is seeing 2017-like performances from Carson Wentz to this point in the year. Remember, the hope of bringing Carson Wentz here to Indianapolis this past offseason was pairing him back up with Frank Reich, who was his OC in that year when he was on another level in 2017. Here is Frank Reich's thoughts on if he's seeing similar flashes to that 2017 MVP quality performance that Carson Wentz had before he got hurt.
I'm really looking for the new the Colts version of him that can where he just keeps getting better and better. But what we are seeing is he's playing good football. But what we talk about is every week is a new week. We can always get better, and we have to get better, and he has to get better. We all do.
And that's the mentality you should have. As the leader of this team, as the head coach in Frank Reich, and as the guide of Carson Wentz, trying to help him continue to mature as a passer in this football league. I can't argue it. Carson Wentz has been solid. I am holding a tad bit of judgment, just a tiny bit of judgment, because much like the Colts as a whole, I need to see it done against top-tier competition. Again, the Colts can only play who's on their schedule. I'm not going to sit here and bash Carson Wentz after the Colts continue to be a winning football club. I'm not going to do it. You're not going to find it for me. I know you're going to hate on me a little bit when I pick against them. That's probably justified to an extent, but it's not like I'm going out on a limb taking the Tennessee Titans today. It's not like I am intentionally picking a team that is worse off than the Colts. Even our own Kevin Bowen views this as a coin flip game. So lay off me a little bit, Indy, okay? I'm sorry. I'm not saying the Colts can't win. I'm just saying I'm going Tennessee's way today because what they've been doing the last couple weeks and momentum and getting on a good streak are very real elements in the National Football League. I just think they're playing a little bit better ball than the Colts are. Back to the original Carson Wentz point, though. I need to see it against high-quality teams. And this Tennessee team, albeit not the best secondary in the world, and it's been suspect at times, save that just otherworldly performance against Kansas City last week, they're giving up points. So there's going to be opportunities there for Carson Wentz to get it done. This is one of those big game moments where I need to see just as dominant of a performance that we saw from Carson Wentz a week ago in the Bomb Cyclone as I'll need to see today under the roof of Lucas Oil Stadium. I'm Jimmy Cook. This is the Way Too Early pregame show. I believe we have the YouTube chat fixed. So if you're on youtube.com, search the Way Too Early pregame show. You get to see part of my Halloween costume attire for the day. Happy Halloween to you. Stay with us when we come back. More clips, more audio. We'll go over some other matchups around the league as well. And later in the show, our best bets on a Sunday in the NFL Week 8 of the National Football League. This is the Way Too Early pregame show, and you're listening on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Text and whatever. Just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Your one blood donation can help save the lives of up to 3 people. Give blood through the American Red Cross to help hospital patients. Visit redcrossblood.org today.
Hey, it's JMV for the best. It's Mark Dietel. Mark Dietel Realty, 317-755-4232. That's 317-755-4232. MarkDietel.com. MarkDietel.com. Listen, if I were somebody out there actively looking to move, whether it's downsizing or upgrading, there's only person I'm going to call. There's no doubt about that, is Mark Dietel, because he is the best. And I love the guarantees. Multiple offers in 3 days, or he is going to sell it for you absolutely free. That's what Mark Dietel does. And you know what? Here's Sean and Alex from Indianapolis, excited with a new baby, and they needed a larger space. They wanted to upgrade. What did they do? They got a hold of Mark Dietel and got the job done right. That's what he's going to do for you. Get it done. 317-755-4232. 317-755-4232. Online, markdietel.com. That's Mark, DIETEL.com today.
Week 8 of the NFL continues this Sunday, and FanDuel Sportsbook wants you to get the most out of every play. That's why they're giving everyone a $10 risk-free bet every week. All you have to do is bet a same-game parlay bet with 3 legs or more, and if your bet doesn't win, FanDuel will pay you back up to $10. We'll all be focused on Colts Titans this week. Maybe you don't want to bet your money with your heart. So I'm going, of all places, Eagles and Lions. I think it's now that Detroit gets their first win, so give me the Lions on the money line, DeAndre Swift as an anytime touchdown scorer, and the over in Jalen Hurts rushing yards. And if you're new to FanDuel Sportsbook, sign up today with promo code MARK to also receive 25-1 enhanced odds on any touchdown scored during the Sunday night matchup between Dallas and Minnesota. Win $125 on a $5 bet using promo code MARK, M-A-R-C. 21 and over and present in Indiana. Refund issued is now withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Max refund $10. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Same game parlay available for multiple sports in all states on mobile and web. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
If you owe the IRS back taxes, then get ready to pay up. The IRS has giant private collection agencies actively tracking down folks who owe the IRS. So if you think dodging them was stressful in the past, it's going to get a whole lot tougher. Optima Tax Relief has this advice. Don't wait. Solve your tax problems now before it's too late. Optima Tax Relief works to stop the demand letters, stop the aggressive collection actions, and stop the IRS collectors from targeting you. Ask Optima about the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands, and nobody knows this program better than they do. Optima is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, and they get results, having resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Get a fresh start. Call today for your free consultation.
Call 800-936-9033. 800-936-9033. 800-936-9033.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hun, have you seen this internet bill? Why'd the price go up?
I don't know. Did you change anything?
No. Did you? You switched us to those fancy coffee beans. Maybe you're on a roll, making everything more expensive. Did you suddenly inherit money you didn't tell me about?
Whoa.
If your internet bill is giving you trust issues, you're not a bad partner. You just need a straightforward price.
Maybe we switch to decaf.
Get AT&T Fiber. Equipment fees are included, and with no price increase at 12 months, there are no surprises. Limited availability in select areas. Visit att.com/faster.
When we at AmericanEagle.com were asked by our client, Repair Clinic, to, repair their website, our digital marketing experts, like Tim, rolled up their sleeves and got to work. If you know Tim, you know that he loves a good challenge, which meant that this project was pretty much the highlight of Tim's year. From improving slow-loading performance that plagued our client's site to slashing duplicate pages and building an optimized sitemap, Tim was like a real-life action hero, but of website optimization. And our client reaped the benefits with major strides in their SEO, like more traffic, impressions, and revenue. Tim and the team even helped them create search and email marketing campaigns and better ongoing analytics tracking. However complex your digital challenges, from digital marketing and strategy to web development, UX, and more, talk to the experts at AmericanEagle.com. Don't just grow, soar.
You didn't.
Yep.
I thought you learned your lesson.
I guess not.
Dad, the vultures are back.
Okay, kids, you know the drill. Windows up.
Gone too far looking for a good deal on gas? Try Price Match, only from BP Me Rewards at participating BP and Amoco stations. Learn more at bp.com/bestprice.
Bet Rivers Sportsbook is ready to make this football season one to remember. All season long, you can score at Bet Rivers Sportsbook with free bets, odds boosts, and more. With player props, thousands of game lines, and live in-game betting, Bet Rivers Sportsbook delivers a best-in-class sports betting experience and has an experienced customer service team to back it up. Visit Bet Rivers Sportsbook today and bet this football season with a local trusted team that puts you first. Go to BetRivers.com and be a winner. Partner of French Lick Casino Resort. Must be 21 or over to play. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. 1-800-994-8448. Playable only in Indiana.
Find the right hire right now. Indeed helps you attract, screen, and interview quality candidates all in one place. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
It's never too early for football.
Yeah, it's too early.
It's the Way Too Early pregame show on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Good morning, Indianapolis. Final segment of hour number 1 of the Way Too Early pregame show. Those of you on the YouTube chat, I'm only going to do this once for the sake of our radio audience, for the sake of my voice. Today, from the Colts, I need justice. That's what I need, Indianapolis. Because I'm Batman. So that's it. That's all I'm doing. That's all I'm doing. That's the extent of my Batman voice. Maybe we'll sprinkle in something with the bets, but for the sake of everybody involved, radio audience, I know it's tough. I got the Batman cowl on today and a Batman t-shirt for Halloween here on the Way Too Early pregame show. Follow me on Twitter at @TheJCook. And again, all day long, don't forget to send your Halloween costumes, which you'll be dressed up as today. For the Colts game, send that to @EddieGarrison_. Eddie, a big fan of those, trying to figure out what he wants to be for Halloween later day. Eddie going as generic Colts fan number 1, I believe, today.
Oh, yeah, I got to work all day, so I didn't want to have to mention the costume.
Man, I would have loved to have seen the reactions all day from you, though, as the revolving door of Colts people are here throughout the day with you dressed up, maybe full scale like me, as the Caped Crusader. Eddie, you highlighted this to me in our pre-show meetings, but again, some of these clips, as I stressed to you before, I don't preview beforehand. I like the initial reaction to them live on air. And this one is a little clip of an old friend of the Colts, one Nick Sirianni. Now, before we play this, I want to remind you, the Eagles are 2-5. They're third in the NFC East, and they are about as bad as anybody in the National Football League. There were times earlier this year where I was like, all right, Jalen Hurts, all right, maybe there's something there. Maybe they made the right move. Maybe this is a trade that worked out on both sides. Now at this point, heading into week 8 of the season, I view it as the other way around. I think that the Colts easily, except for that draft pick, we'll talk about that later, easily got the better end of this deal. And that I'd rather have Carson Wentz than Jalen Hurts. But I mentioned Nick Sirianni because a 2-5 team heading into this week against the 0-7 Detroit Lions. And you might think your messaging would be either aggressive or about living in the moment or about taking care of business and ignoring the record of your opponent. But no, Nick Sirianni delivers about this young Eagles team and how the rebuild is similar to taking care of and growing a flower.
The results aren't there right now, but what's going on here is that there's growth under the soil. I put a picture of a flower up, right, and it's coming through the ground, and the roots are growing out, and the roots are continuing to grow out, and everybody wants to see results. Shoot, nobody wants to see results more than us, right? We want to see results too, but it's really important that the foundation is being built and that the roots are growing out. And the only way the roots grow out every single day and they grow stronger and they grow better is if that we all water, we all fertilize, we all do our part. Each individual coach, each individual player, everybody in the building, that we do our part to water to make sure that when it does pop out, it really pops out and it grows.
Wow.
I'm ready to run through a brick wall.
I am ready to beat the Lions, baby, because I'm a flower. I need to be watered. I need my roots to be taken care of.
You need to be fertilized, Jimmy.
Yes. Come on, coach. That's what I need. Man. Look, Nick Sirianni counts as a disciple, if you will, of Frank Reich. Yes, Eddie?
I would say to a degree.
So is that where we got that from?
I hope not.
Man, I hope not. If that is the messaging, look, I didn't coach, okay? So I'm going to use Dan as an example here. I'm not as aggressive as the fan zone Dan Dockich. I never coached, never been in a locker room like that. So what do I know? But I'm also not to the other end of the spectrum that I am. Oh man, we're like a delicate flower here. We got to be very careful. My goodness. All right. That's a heck of a way to close out the first hour of the show. Props to Nick Sirianni. Remember, we're all flowers. Just take care of us when you need just a little bit of watering. And don't forget sunlight. Sunlight is very important. Unless you're a bat, then you operate in the night. This is the Way Too Early pregame show. I'm your host, Jimmy Cook. We'll have more after this. Still to come, our picks and prop plays of the day, plus a look around the league and other matchups on the docket here in Week 8 in the NFL. You're listening to the Way Too Early pregame show on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
This year, our average client received over $52,000 with an easy cash-out refinance. TheHomeLoanExpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Calling all auto techs, detailers, painters, body shop, lot attendants, and other auto specialists, and just awesome people everywhere. Carvana, the company that invented the new way to buy a car, is having a hiring event at their inspection center in Indianapolis. Grow on the go with one of the fastest growing companies in America. Carvana has open roles for all levels of experience, even no experience. Openings include automotive techs, auto body and paint professionals, detailers, and inventory associates. With competitive pay, on-the-job training, company-paid certifications, and a sign-on bonus for qualified roles. Get a great job on day one with the opportunity for a Carvana career. You'll also get health insurance. Carvana pays 100% of the premium for its employees. How about extra pay and a 4-day work week for second shift? Grow your career with stability. Come to Carvana's hiring event. You know, the one that's at Carvana's Inspection Center in Indianapolis. 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. November 10th and 11th. Located at 6508 West FW Marks Drive, Greenfield. Sign up at CarvanaJobsIndy.com. Carvana is an equal opportunity employer.
Oh, you know that old injury of yours? The one in your knee or maybe back? Instead of going to the doctor and then doing physical therapy, why not start with therapy first? Athletico Physical Therapy is changing the whole healing process around. Their physical therapists will find the source of your pain and help fix it. Start with them and start living pain-free. Just like that.
It all starts with Athletico Physical Therapy. Schedule your free assessment at athletico.com. No prescription needed. Official sponsor of IU Athletics.
Dan Dockich here for PXG Clubs. With PXG Clubs, performance is in the bag. I just got custom fitted for my new set of PXG Clubs over at the Golf Club of Indiana. At Golf Club of Indiana, they have indoor and outdoor fitting bays with TrackMan technology to get your new PXG Clubs fully optimized for distance, accuracy, and feel. Get ready to increase your performance like me and enjoy the game with PXG Clubs. Schedule your custom fitting experience at pxg.com or 844-PLAY-PXG.
Denny Smith here for my friends at Sundown Gardens. Now save 30 to 50% on all nursery stock, including trees, shrubs, and bald and burlap trees, including evergreens. Their nursery staff has all the tips and techniques for planting, or better yet, ask about their installation services. The pumpkin patch, wagon rides, and kids' activities continue through Halloween. And mark your calendars for their big holiday open house weekend, November 20th and 21st. Sundown Gardens, 186th Street and Spring Mill Road, sundown.gardens.com.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Looking for the perfect spot to spend your game day? Head to Twin Peaks. Where the 29-degree draft beer is flowing, the kitchen is bursting with made-from-scratch fan favorites, and the game is blasting from every angle. Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
The first bet on Caesar Sportsbook app is up to $5,000 risk-free, people. When I told my team about the idea, they said I was being too wonderful and magnificent. But I don't care how awesome this makes me. I'm doing this for the people. So just download the app, and that first bet is up to $5,000 risk-free. Caesar made an app for the people.
Must be 21. Offer valid in Indiana only and for new players. Paid in bet credits. Terms and conditions apply. See Caesars.com/promos. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Fall in Indy. And for 20 years, Rhino Shield's been covering Indiana homes like your neighbor Elsie.
My husband, he had been reading about Rhino Shield. We were just impressed.
And Rhino Shield's not paint, it's better.
And we had our all the trim and everything done. And they even did the ceiling of our front porch.
Indianapolis fall just got better. Celebrate Rhino Shield covering Indiana homes for 20 years for 20% off the regular price.
Oh my, it looks brand new. Saves us painting, and we get compliments even today about how nice it looks and everything.
Here's owner Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
Don't paint, don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
If a fire starts in your home, you have just 2 minutes to escape. That's why it's important to have working smoke alarms. Develop an escape plan and practice monthly. Visit redcross.org to learn more.
Right now, it's a seller's market. I'm Patrick Keller with Crest Point Real Estate. Get your free home value estimate from me in 60 seconds at sellwithpatrick.com.
93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
WIBC HD2, W298BB, WIBC HD3, W228CX, Indianapolis.
It's 7 a.m. Grab your coffee and...
Is that bacon?
No, it's football. It's the Way Too Early pregame show with your host, Jimmy Cook.
Good morning, Indianapolis. The Batman voice is causing me to lose mine. That was a terrible idea on the Way Too Early pregame show. Let's try it one more time, shall we? Good morning, Indianapolis. And welcome to the Way Too Early pregame show. Hour number 2. For Colts Titans. Tua. That's producer Eddie Garrison behind the ones and twos. I'm your host, Jimmy Cook. Game of the year. I'm not going to go game of the century, but game of the year easily today for the Indianapolis Colts as they get set for the Tennessee Titans. Now, we didn't use as much audio as we're accustomed to in that opening segment last time around, but let's make up for lost time. No time like the present to do just that. We're going to listen to a little bit of Carson Wentz, but let's look at a payoff to what we played earlier in the show, and that is Frank Reich alluding to the fact that Carson Wentz might be getting back to 2017-like forms. He answered that whether or not he felt like he was turning a corner. Now, Reich, as you would expect, kind of went more game-by-game look at it, that he's getting better each week. He kind of stopped short from saying that he felt like that's exactly where Wentz was. But Carson Wentz, and this is the clip that we're going to focus on here, Carson Wentz was asked the same question on if he felt like that he is starting to turn the corner and get back to the player that he was in 2017 and 2018.
I mean, yeah, I've been confident in who I was as a player and everything all the way through. So I think it's been fun just seeing the development of this offense of myself, of the coaches, and just all of the pieces coming together.
More on that, and in addition to that, Wentz went deeper, looking at the type of player that he's been since week 1 to the player that he's formed into now during week 8.
I think we've all developed in trying to just more or less find our identity and who we are and how we want to attack defenses and, putting guys in the best position to succeed. And I think it's been fun to see that each week come to life and, find a way to be explosive and create plays down the field. And, it just creates a different tempo to our offense. We're taking shots, we're running the ball, we're throwing screens, just kind of those things that I think we've all kind of meshed together, and it's been cool to see come to life.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you are struggling early on in the season, but you feel like, man, we're doing all the right things, or we know what we want to do out there, but execution hasn't been there for us, or we're not on the same page. Whenever you're able to see that come together week over week, there's nothing better. In any facet of life, not just football, but when you're a part of a team or part of an organization and you have early struggles and you're able to power through it and come together and have the options that you hope to have available for you come to life, it's special. And Wentz alludes to that there, being able to not only see his game improve, but see his ability to open things up through the offense with guys rising to the occasion like Michael Pittman Jr. or like Jonathan Taylor. Speaking of Jonathan Taylor, Frank Reich talked earlier this week to the media about how talented and how strong his second-year running back has been.
I would fair to say he's exceeding my expectations. I think he's outstanding. I think he's one of the best players in the league. I give Chris a lot of credit. I think, not that I didn't think he was going to be great, but I think Chris saw this in him from the very start. I remember Chris telling me about him. Yeah, exactly. He was a little biased, but he happened to be right.
There you go. I mean, that's when you look at what Jonathan Taylor has been able to do over the last couple of weeks, it has been sensational. And I mentioned it in our first segment here on the Way Too Early pregame show. A reminder for you, if you're listening to this podcasted, if you're listening to this on the YouTube feed after the fact, 6 to 8 a.m. is when we get started. Grab your coffee, and as the promo says, smell the football every Sunday here on The Fan. 6 to 8 a.m. Usually, I believe next week will be 10 to noon.
Yes, sir.
Has that been officially confirmed?
Correct.
All right, so 10 to noon next week. That'll be more of a reactionary Way Too Early pregame show. It's a way too early pregame show because we are more than a week away from the next Colts game, and it'll be reactions to the Colts on Thursday Night Football. That's Colts-Jets, right, if I'm not mistaken?
Yep, Colts-Jets. The beautiful Thursday night game.
Do I wish we were doing a pregame show before that one, and do I hope the Colts win, because otherwise it might be like a tribal council. We'll be voting people off on next Sunday's edition of the Way Too Early pregame show. But I mentioned Jonathan Taylor. Just exquisite. Just chef's kiss Jonathan Taylor throughout the last couple of weeks. 2 touchdowns, 145 yards against the Texans 2 weeks ago. 1 touchdown, 107 yards, those on the ground against the 49ers last week. Eddie, you are our resident Colts fan here. As the audience knows, I cover the Colts. I'm proud to be able to do that in this city. I'm an Indianapolis native, but in my heart, I'm a Chiefs fan, and my sadness does not affect the fine folks in the YouTube chat. But Eddie, your happiness affects the fine folks in the YouTube chat because you're a Colts fan just like them. At least we hope that's why you're up, and not to see a man parading around in a mask trying to save the fine folks of Indianapolis. How have you felt to see this emergence from Jonathan Taylor? Not that it wasn't there last year, but him being able to string together a couple nice games against the Texans and 49ers.
It's about dang time. Because now the coaching staff is finally giving him the rock. They're feeding him the ball, whether it's in the passing game or it's in the ground game. And that's the one thing that Colts fans, especially myself, have been asking for since week 1 of the season. Feed Jonathan Taylor and make him the primary focal point of the offense, because you make things easier for Carson Wentz, who coming into this year had a really, really, really bad 2020 for the Eagles. And now that you can take some of that pressure off of Wentz by giving Taylor the rock, and now the defense has to focus on Jonathan Taylor, all of a sudden Michael Pittman gets going with Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz starts looking better throughout the course of the season, and the offense is kind of looking somewhat similar to the Andrew Luck days. I'm not going to say it is, but it's looking a little bit more similar to that, with the plays down the field, the play action pass, the design quarterback runs a little bit, the read action, and then being able to move around in the pocket and extend plays.
And that's what you hoped when you brought him in. That's what you're hoping when you drafted him in the second round just a couple of years ago. In fact, during the pandemic draft, everybody's going around and admiring the homes of multiple GMs, multiple coaches. Obviously, Cliff Kingsbury of the Arizona Cardinals kind of stealing the show there, but I digress. Let's shift to some more audio. This time, let's head to the Tennessee Titans perspective of things. We already mentioned that the A.J. Brown clip talking about the Colts calling this game a must-win, but what I really want to get into is Derrick Henry a bit. He talked about the small details in wins and losses against divisional teams. That's something that we stressed early on in the Way Too Early pregame show, in that this is an opportunity for the Colts to not only get a win against a division rival and prime yourself towards the playoffs, but on top of that, for the Colts, you're able to make up a game in the loss column. It's a double points day, as I referred to it earlier. You're able to make up a game in the loss column that you're not able to get otherwise. Because if you lose this game, again, it's obvious, but it needs to be stressed, you cannot get back that game in the loss side unless the Titans stumble somewhere along the way. So without further ado, here's Derrick Henry talking about the differences and importance of divisional games.
Well, I think it's just they know us and we know them, and we play them twice a year, and it's always a tough battle. So you just got to pay attention to the little things, the details. Make sure you're watching more film out there, put heavy emphasis on what you need to do each and every day to be better leading up to Sunday, and just holding each other accountable. Make sure everybody knows what to do and playing fast.
And that's a culture in a locker room that's been doing it for the last couple of years. Again, 2 years removed from an AFC Championship game appearance. They've had success in this division while the Colts have kind of been on that downward spiral, so to speak, and finally leveling out the last couple of years. I know that the main goal in general as a franchise is to make the postseason by any means necessary, but success in the National Football League and success in the playoffs starts with checking a couple of boxes, and the most important box outside of going for the number one seed and capturing a first-round bye is winning your division to have a home playoff game. That's all there is to it. That makes your road immensely easier than otherwise having to utilize a wild card spot. Look at my Chiefs, for instance. Their postseason success the last couple of years has been nice, but a lot of that is started by their first goal and their goal every year that they're probably not going to hit this year unless a couple things break their way, and that is winning the division. It matters more than anything in the league, is taking care of business against divisional opponents and winning your division so you get to host that playoff game. I'm not saying don't go after the one seed. Everybody wants the one seed, and it's all that more important in today's NFL since a couple years back when they got rid of the double bye and they added an extra wild card spot, which that wild card spot, by the way, is what teams like the Chiefs, like the Colts, like the Broncos, like the Steelers are chasing. That seventh spot as we speak, occupied by the Cleveland Browns. Believe the Browns are sitting at 4-3, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think they're 3-4. I'm pretty sure that's 4-3 is where they're held there. But that is the avenue you're looking at right now for the Colts, is winning that battle for the division and potentially squeaking into that wild card spot. I'll concede I was wrong a couple weeks ago when I said that the only way the Colts were going to make the playoffs is by winning their division. You can make an argument that the wild card is still in play, but if you lose today, then it's kind of, Eddie, you kind of talk this a little bit, you're kind of out on both counts, right? Because not only is division off the board, but the wild card's likely off the board if you stumble and fall today.
Yeah, I agree there. And Mike Tirico was on the Dan Dockett show earlier this week, and he asked the question to Dan. He goes, when you look at the AFC, do you think the Colts could make it as a wild card team, make a playoff run by winning 3 games on the road when you have to go to possibly Kansas City,
no,
Buffalo,
no,
or whomever comes out of the AFC North? No way.
No.
I mean, it was an anomaly year last year that I think Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did it. Granted, because it's Tom frickin' Brady.
Yep.
But to get back to your point, I personally don't think...
They did get one home game, but that's neither here nor there. I'll continue.
I personally don't think, win or lose, the Colts have a shot in the wild card because you have Cincinnati and Baltimore. They are both 5-2. Buffalo's got the AFC East locked up, and I don't think anyone else is going to be able to threaten outside of that. Maybe New England, who the Colts will have to play later this year. And then you look at the AFC West, everyone, including yourself, assumes the Chiefs will get back on track at some point, and they're not going to be below or at 500 come the end of the season. And then you have the Chargers, who are playing really good football, and the Raiders, who are playing really good football. And you are the Colts, and you still have to play Tampa Bay on the road. And you have to play Arizona and Buffalo. I just don't think...
God, please, no! No!
Right.
It's a daunting task.
Yeah, I just don't see it.
So you don't... So I guess, yeah, to clarify that, win or lose today, you don't see the Colts winning out. I don't either, but you do not see them winning out the rest of the way.
100% don't see them winning out, and I only think the way for them to make the postseason is through the AFC South, just because everywhere around them seems to be better than what the AFC South is.
But again, you're no longer going to be, and this is kind of to go away from that and move forward with the conversation, but you are relying on the Titans to stumble then, assuming you win this game. If you know you have more losses on your docket, I believe you're still a game out on the loss side of the Titans, and you're building in the simulation a game or two more on the loss side if they lose to Tampa Bay or Arizona or Buffalo or Las Vegas, even though I don't think the Raiders are that good. Just saying. You're building in a couple losses there, and you're going to need the Titans to stumble the rest of the way.
So they have to go to L.A. next week and play the Rams.
It's a loss.
Then they have New Orleans, but they have New Orleans and Tennessee. That game, I don't know. That game could go either way for me personally.
I mean, the Titans did lose to the Jets earlier this year. I mean,
exactly.
That's a good point.
And then they still have to go to New England and go to Pittsburgh. Both of those places are really hard to play. And the Titans have the 49ers at home. So those are their quote-unquote tough opponents.
Yeah. So, I mean, Eddie brings up some great points there. And that is known. The Tampa Bay game is in Indy, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for correcting me on that.
No, that wasn't me. That was YouTube chat.
Yeah, I meant to say at both Buffalo and Tampa Bay came out of the mouth.
Sean Rickard, I appreciate you clarifying that. And no, yes, I did drive the Batmobile in today. I am illegally parked, so hopefully nobody's going to tow the Batmobile. But yeah, I mean, you're going to have to win some tough games down the stretch, and that is a bigger point for me as to if the Colts lose this game. And again, I do have them losing this game. 28-24 is my final score. You can find that on Twitter at 1075 The Fan. But I have them losing this game, and then that affects my confidence moving forward. Because if you can't beat the Titans at home, you've yet to prove to me that you can beat a quality football club when the stakes are highest. I will not feel confidence, and I'm going to tell you right now, they lose this game, I'm not going to pick them to beat the Buccaneers. I'm not going to pick them to beat the Bills. I'm not going to pick them to beat the Arizona Cardinals, because they will have done nothing to establish faith in my mind that they're capable of beating good football teams. It is great that they're 3-4. It is great that they're still in the conversation to win the division, but they've beaten teams that they were expected to win. And they've lost to teams that you can make the argument they were expected to lose. The problem is, if you lose a game like this, which is in the toss-up game category, they've already lost one of these once this season, you have to make it up somewhere else. And oh, by the way, you need the Titans to stumble, which is producer Eddie mentioned there. There's opportunities for them to do so, but you're no longer in control of your own destiny, and you're still not in control of your own destiny if you win today, because you're still a game back on the loss side, and you likely have at least 1 or 2 more losses to come. There's just no confidence built up for me if they don't win today, and that is why I'm in this trend of picking against them right now, because they haven't done enough confidence in me to think they can win big football games. They proved me wrong last week. I'm not sure if they're able to do it again today. Though, for the Colts fans in attendance, and I do love all of you engaging in the YouTube chat and tuning in to the Fan each and every day, but in particular on Colts game days, I want them to win for you. I do. I want you to have a great Halloween, be able to be throwing out extra candy. You're so happy for the Colts win. I don't want you to be putting a bucket of candy on the door with the lights off saying, hey, take one, and then it's gone in the first 10 minutes, and just one lucky kid has a whole bag of candy and the whole neighborhood starts tagging your house. I don't want that to happen to you, okay? That's a bad spiral, and I don't want that to happen. I want a Colts win for you today. However, I don't see it happening, but maybe give that extra candy out anyway. You know? No trick-or-treating a year ago. Got to make up for lost time. I'm rambling a bit. Let's go back to the Tennessee Titans. Here is Ryan Tannehill talking about the importance of taking care of the football and ball security as a whole against the Colts today.
And you look at their last 4 games, they're playing really good ball. Defensively, they've always been sound, right? They're not going to give you anything. They're going to play their game and play really sound football. Obviously, the turnovers have been huge for them, so that's going to be a point of emphasis for us is to be smart with the football and take care of it. Take advantage of the opportunities that we do get. They don't give you anything, so you have to earn it. But when you do get plays against a good defense that you can make, you got to take advantage of them.
He's not wrong, particularly against this Colts defense. Anytime you get an opportunity to put points on the board, anytime you have an opportunity to put together a big-time drive, you got to take advantage of it. And it starts by taking care of the football. Just as much as it's important, for the Colts to look out for Ryan Tannehill and not allow him to extend drives with his legs, it is equally as important for Ryan Tannehill on his end to take care of the football. Ryan Tannehill also stressed the mindset for the Titans of, even though they put together 2 big wins the last 2 weeks against the Buffalo Bills in a shootout and against the Chiefs in just a dominant fashion from start to finish, they cannot get complacent or get away from their mindset, which is taking care of business today and increasing their lead in the race for the AFC South.
We're 7 games into a long season, so we need to keep improving, keep getting better week in and week out. We need to be playing our best football, late into the year. So it really doesn't matter. Yeah, it's a good start. It doesn't matter what you've already done. It matters what you're going to do next. So have to be able to build on the momentum that we've kind of created, but at the same time stay hungry, stay fighting for ways to improve each and every day in practice, in the meeting room, and then go out and play well on Sunday.
Let's go defensively real quick to the Colts side of the ball. We mentioned Ryan Tannehill already, stressing the importance of taking care of the football. The maniac, Darius Leonard, talked to the media earlier this week on the Colts' ability to force turnovers and how it makes offenses get away from what they like to do.
They're really telling them guys that, this defense, they're going to punch at the ball, they're going to hammer at the ball, they're going to rake at the ball. So making sure that, you keep the 4 points pressure on the ball. So when you telling guys do that or to watch out for that the whole week, then when they get in the game, some people who, especially some running backs who's less experienced, they're not going to run as hard. They're not going to try to fight for them extra yardage. So we just got to continue to do what we do, and hopefully we can keep stacking up the turnovers.
They've been really solid in that front. I do think that this is the game, and we'll talk about this more next segment as well, and I want to get Eddie's thoughts on this next segment. But this is the game, I think, where the Julian Blackmon injury really comes into play. And I don't know. I just think that when you look at the ways that Tennessee is able to beat opponents, and in particular Ryan Tannehill's fearlessness to take shots downfield, I think this is the game where you feel it, and you're wondering if they're going to make a move at the trade deadline. Speaking of the trade deadline, again, this is very brief. Adam Schefter reporting today, and this is contrary to what Ian Rappaport had reported a week ago while we were on the Way Too Early pregame show. It is believed, per Adam Schefter, and I'm paraphrasing a bit here, that the Houston Texans will hang on to Deshaun Watson through the trade deadline, despite some calls within the organization to move on and turn the page. That is a bit of a surprising development. The way it was reported a week ago made it seem like it was all but certain he was going to be dealt. Now it appears they are waiting for everything to get sorted out, and they still have him under contract for, I can't remember if it's another 3 years or 4 years, whatever it is, but they are still waiting for all of the clear that they're waiting for everything to get sorted out with Deshaun's end so that they can get a fair price for him and fair value. I mean, are you laughing at the Texans as a whole, or are you laughing at them not trading him? What's the...
I know we're up against it. I know we need to get to a break. I'll keep it brief. I would trade him. You don't know what his outlook could be. He could, worst case scenario, he can be suspended for, a year or even longer, not play again, depending on how these allegations turn out. And, if somebody's willing to trade for him right now, I don't know what your return would be next season if he's already wanting out now. He wants out. Nobody's going to budge. On the other side, if you're another team, it's like, why would I expend 3 draft picks when I know this guy doesn't want to play for you? And he clearly didn't play for you last year. So why would I waste 3 picks when he's just not going to play anyway?
I guess the hope is that all this stuff gets settled and sorted out. Not settled in terms of settlement, but like settled in terms of the air is cleared in a year's time. And that by the time trade windows open again, when the calendar year starts in March, or by the time we get into the swing of things next summer, that there's less elephant nature in the room, so to speak, elephantness in the room, so to speak, on the scandal surrounding Deshaun Watson, and that teams are more likely to make a move there. Because again, and I know we got to take a break, it was rumored, I think it was Barry Jackson in Miami, I might be misquoting here, but somebody in the Miami media reported that the Dolphins were willing to part with the 3 first-round picks that the Texans were asking for, not an additional second-round pick, but the 3 first-rounders, but they needed Deshaun Watson to settle those cases first, and that's not something that Deshaun wants to do because it would admit guilt in his mind. So that's not the full reason that things fell through there, but that is one of the reported reasons last week, I should say, amongst the NFL media. We do have to take a break. When we come back, we will take a trip around the league in Week 8 of the NFL. Plus, producer extraordinaire Eddie Garrison has some bets for you today, as do I, on a Halloween edition of the Way Too Early pregame show, right here on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
When was the last time you practiced your home fire escape plan? Be sure everyone in your family knows what to do if there's a fire. Get out, stay out. It's your fire safe response.
Are you one of the millions of homeowners who haven't refinanced yet? If so, I'm here to tell you it's not too late. Hi, I'm Wesley Hogan with Westland Financial. Although the lowest rates may be in our rearview mirror, as the economy recovers from the biggest economic shock of our lifetime, rates still remain near historic lows. In fact, with the dramatic increase in home values, this may be the perfect time to put that new home equity to work. Take advantage of our cash out refi program and pay off high-rate credit cards, car loans, or other high-interest rate debt. Or finally make those home improvements you put on hold for so long. Best of all, we can do this with no closing costs. That's right. Whether it's a conventional, FHA, or VA loan, we'll pay for your title, settlement, lender, and recording fees. So call Westland at 888-455-3669. That's 888-455-3669. It's the biggest no-brainer in the history of mankind. 888-455-3669.
NMLS number 3304. Not all loans apply. Equal housing lender.
It's JMV, and the NFL season is approaching the halfway point, and FanDuel Sportsbook has a little something different to offer for the Sunday night matchup between Dallas and Minnesota, because FanDuel is giving new customers 25-1 odds on any touchdown scored in the game. That means you can end the NFL Sunday right by winning $125 on a $5 bet. That's FanDuel Sportsbook, and this is going to be a fantastic matchup well, you can take full advantage using that promo code JMV. Again, FanDuel Sportsbook, promo code JMV. You could win $125 on a $5 bet. That promo code is JMV. 21 plus and present in Indiana. New users only $10 first deposit required. Must wager in designated offer market. Max bonus $125. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Do you have chronic joint pain, knees hurting, hips aching? Well, it's time to think about an exciting new way to treat joint pain with biological therapies, regenerative solutions. I'm talking about QC Kinetics. This is Kevin Bowen, and I know lots of people that have already called QC Kinetics. They are the leader in helping people deal with chronic pain with no surgery, no drugs, no steroids, and no downtime. These natural pain treatments can actually repair and restore damaged tissue in your joints with long-lasting results. Call QC Kinetics to learn more. 463-235-7160. If you have joint pain due to arthritis, lower back pain, shoulder, hips, or knee pain, you need to change the way you think about pain treatments and discover the biological therapies at QC Kinetics. Get moving again. Get your life back with no surgeries, no drugs. Call QC Kinetics now to learn more. 463-235-7160. That's 463-235-7160.
Hey, it's JMV from Mark Dietel Realty. 317-755-4232. That's 317-755-4232. Online, markdietel.com. That is markdietel.com. A lot of people doing a lot of moving and shaking right now in the housing market. Here's the one thing you need to know. You have to go with the best. And the best is Mark Dietel. And this is what I love the most, because he's going to guarantee multiple offers in 3 days, or he is going to sell it for free. So whether you're downsizing or maybe you're upgrading, Mark Dietel is the one to call. Also, Rhonda on the east side of Indianapolis wanted to take advantage of a hot market and sell her rental property. She gave Mark a call, and he delivered as promised. That's exactly what he does. It's Mark Dietel Realty today. Tell him I sent you. 317-755-4232. 317-755-4232. Online, markdietel.com. That's markdietel.com today.
If you owe the IRS back taxes, then get ready to pay up. The IRS has giant private collection agencies actively tracking down folks who owe the IRS. So if you think dodging them was stressful in the past, it's going to get a whole lot tougher. Optima Tax Relief has this advice. Don't wait. Solve your tax problems now before it's too late. Optima Tax Relief works to stop the demand letters, stop the aggressive collection actions, and stop the IRS collectors from targeting you. Ask Optima about the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands, and nobody knows this program better than they do. Optima is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, and they get results, having resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Get a fresh start. Call today for your free consultation.
Call 800-936-9033. 800-936-9033. 800-936-9033.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Lowe's Provember event is back, and we're thanking pros like you all month long. So when you become a Pro Loyalty member, now through November 24th, you'll get a welcome kit via mail, Lowe's bucket included. It's all part of Provember, going on online and in stores. Lowe's, the new home for pros. New accounts only. More terms and conditions apply while supplies last. Visit Lowe's.com/ProLoyalty for details. U.S. only.
Find the right hire right now. Indeed helps you attract, screen, and interview quality candidates all in one place. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Check out 1075thefan.com and sign up for the 2021 Drumstick Dash presented by Wheeler Mission on Thanksgiving Day to support Wheeler Mission's great cause.
Hey, wake up. We're talking football. It's the Way Too Early pregame show on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Batman's getting ready.
Welcome back. Indeed I am. Getting ready for the final hour of the Way Too Early pregame show. I am Jimmy Cook, the Capes Crusader himself. Oh man, I gave him my identity. Now what, Eddie? Now I'm gonna have to turn to a new alter ego, a new way. No, I'm not. I'm not the famous Bruce Wayne, but
I have to turn into Tony Stark.
Well done. Well done, say Robert Downey Jr. That was good. Oh, man. That is our final segment, our second to last segment of the Way Too Early pregame show. Thank you so much for joining us here on Halloween, and happy Halloween to you. It's time to go around the NFL at some key matchups throughout the league. Let's start first, though, with a trip back to Thursday night's matchup. I don't ordinarily utilize this going in the Wayback Machine and checking out something that happened a couple days ago. But Rasul Douglas, even though A.J. Green was asleep at the wheel, made a phenomenal interception to win that game for the Arizona Cardinals. And I need to hear, I've already heard it once, but I need to hear Rasul Douglas again taking us through that game-sealing INT.
We're in an all-out blitz. It's me, A.J. Green. I see Kyler Murray looking at A.J. Green. About 15 seconds left or something like that. I know they well in field goal range, so right now it's like, let's try to see if we can get 7 and end it. So I'm like, I got to make a play. He threw it to my guy, just made a play.
That he did. The hand-eye coordination there to be able to get away from what looked like, I think it was Big Cat that tweeted about it. Big Cat said something to the effect of, man, great run block, though, there by A.J. Green. That's really going to pop on the film tomorrow morning.
I mean, but it really did look like he was run blocking.
It did. He's not wrong there. But that adjustment to get away from that block, if you will, tap the ball in the air to yourself with one hand, and then make the catch and stay in bounds. Tip of the cap to Rasul Douglas making that play. Shout out to the YouTube chat. Jane Parker, good morning to you as well. Kokomo, I don't know what you're talking about, man. You said just admit that the local sports media doesn't want the Colts to win. We're the home of the Colts. Of course we want the Colts to win. The more that the Colts win, the more not only energetic the fan base is, but more focused the shows are as we get deeper and deeper. Do you know what it's like to talk about no major sports going on within the summertime here? All the shows, the Riders JMV, the Fan Morning Show, the Dan Dockett Show, they do a wonderful job of keeping things fun and keeping things full of excitement during those summer months because they're good at what they do. But yes, it gets far easier when the Colts are playing, and it gets 10 times easier than that when the Colts win. Just because I'm picking against the Colts and Kevin Bowen is picking against the Colts doesn't mean there's some vendetta by the indie media against the Colts' success. I won't have it here. I will not have it in the Fan Morning. I will not have it on any show. I haven't done that in a long time. I will not have it here on the Way Too Early pregame show. Eddie, what say you?
I was just going to say, I think you have a vendetta. I mean, you picked the 49ers, Jimmy.
That was a toss-up game.
Uh-huh.
That was a toss-up game.
Sure.
Toss-up game.
Sure, except you were the only one here at the Fan that picked it.
I was, and I wasn't proud of that. I also picked the Colts to lose to the Dolphins because I drank the Jacoby Brissett revenge game Kool-Aid. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Have some of the Kool-Aid you've been drinking, my friend?
It's very tasty. The Kool-Aid that I have going still has the Chiefs winning the AFC West. What? I know. We'll get to that later.
Oh, I got to clip that.
Yeah, please. Clip that for me. The what? The what? Yeah, please. Please do. All right, let's look towards games that are going to take place today. We've already listened to the Nick Sirianni flower quote. I apologize. That clip's too long to get to again here, but you can listen back to the podcast. Just search the Way Too Early pregame show. I believe we're now locked and loaded on iTunes. Yes,
it should be. Yeah.
So search for it.
Spotify,
on iTunes. And I know Jaden Parker's giving me the business. I understand. I did, but that Brissett is not a great quarterback. I get that, but he looked sharp the week before in relief. And those revenge games are a very real thing in the NFL. They just are. So I understand. I probably should have gone off of Brissett's track record here in Indianapolis with that pick. But to be honest with you, around that time, there was rumbling as to whether or not, from the fan base, mind you, not me, but the fan base, that the Colts should have kept Jacoby Brissett around. And in the offseason, it was the same thing about Carson Wentz. Man, this is a risky move. God, could have had Jacoby for way cheaper. What do we do? That was real talk within the fan base. So don't look at me and act like it was totally ignorant of me to think that Jacoby Brissett might be able to put together a solid performance. And give credit to the Colts. They dominated from start to finish, but that was against the Miami Dolphins. And to your point, Jane Parker, Jacoby Brissett and the Miami Dolphins, not a great football team. That's been the trend for Colts wins so far this year, are wins against not great football teams. Bears at Niners. Niners only favored by 4 here because both teams are pretty bad in their own right. Coach Shanahan, I should say, talking about the Niners' 4-game losing streak and how it ultimately falls on him.
We're sitting here at 2-4. We've lost 4 games in a row that I believe all 4 we are capable of winning. It's where you want to start. You want to have a chance to win every game you go in, but it's definitely starting with being up to me and going down to everyone else that we got to find a way to win some of these close games and win some of these games that we've found a way to lose. And we're sitting here at 2-4, and there's a lot of football left to play. And I know there's a lot of stuff we could talk about, and I got to do that in press conference. But when the press conferences are over, I got one focus, and that's trying to make sure to find a way that we play as good as we possibly can with Chicago. So when this week ends, we're 3-4.
Coach Shanahan knows how the business works. He understands that as the leader of his franchise, that it is on him. And that's the type of ownership you would expect from your head coach, but you need to see results. And I'm going to give a little bit more leeway to the 49ers because of the injuries they've been dealing with. It's not necessarily all on him, but he is the head coach and he has to make do with what he has at his disposal.
The Kool-Aid you've been drinking?
Looking at our next clip, let's go Dolphins at Bills. -14. Eddie, you laying the 14 with Buffalo?
Yep.
You're laying the 14.
If I had to, if you put a gun to my head, yes.
Throwing the Dolphins out the window. Throw them in the trash.
Yes, and here's why. Buffalo lost a really bad game to Tennessee. They've had a whole week to let it fester. They absolutely throttled Miami already once. I think that defense is legit, one of the best defenses in the NFL, and I just don't think Tua... Now, you can always smell a backdoor cover, but I don't smell it here, and Josh Allen and those Bills are going to be ready to play. Very favorable matchup, too.
Let's listen to Brian Flores stressing that Tua is their QB.
I don't really get into rumors. I don't really pay attention to rumors and hypotheticals and this and that. Tua's our quarterback. I've said that, multiple times. I've said that to him, and I try to be, honest and transparent with our players. That's what I've been.
Yeah, but here's the issue with that. You're not outright saying, and Adam Schefter's reports of the Texans hanging on to Deshaun Watson more than likely, maybe they put that to bed. But I will say this. You're not outright saying we're not trading for Deshaun Watson. You're using statements that are clearly lined to cover your backsides. Hey, he's our quarterback. Yeah, it's a fact. He is your quarterback. Doesn't mean you're not going to go out and get somebody else. So, I don't know. I want things to work out for Tua, but yeah, I'm with Eddie. I'm gonna lay the 14. Let's look now at Saints and Buccaneers. Saints are 4.5-point dogs. Bruce Arians, head coach of Tampa Bay, talks about how the focus of the Buccaneers this year is better than it was a year ago.
We're working as hard or more than we did last year. I think there's a better attention to detail because I think now they know what's at stake. Games in September and October mean something when it gets to December and January. And you start talking about home field advantage and all the things that we learned about last year for the first time. It's going to be different this year.
Different in that there's a target on your back. You just won the Super Bowl last year. What? I guess maybe he just means the mentality of them moving forward. They have a championship under the belt now. Things are a little bit better. When we come back, we are going to go over quickly the 2 primetime matchups, Cowboys at Vikings, and then a little startup franchise out west in Kansas City against the Giants. Monday Night Football, not really important to anybody, but maybe we'll play a clip or two for you. And of course, myself and producer extraordinaire, the boy wonder himself, Eddie Garrison, set with his prop bet picks and maybe a couple game picks as well in the final segment of the Way Too Early pregame show. 93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
For those fortunate enough to help the person who has always been their hero, find the care guides you need to help at aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Find the right hire right now. Indeed helps you attract, screen, and interview quality candidates all in one place. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Hey, it's JMV from Mark Dietel Realty, 317-755-4232. That's 317-755-4232. Online, markdietel.com. That is markdietel.com. A lot of people doing a lot of moving and shaking right now in the housing market. Here's the one thing you need to know. You have to go with the best, and the best is Mark Dietel, and this is what I love the most, because he's going to guarantee multiple offers in 3 days, or he is going to sell it for free. So whether you're downsizing or maybe you're upgrading, Mark Dietel is the one to call. Also, Rhonda on the east side of Indianapolis wanted to take advantage of a hot market and sell her rental property. She gave Mark a call, and he delivered as promised. That's exactly what he does. It's Mark Dietel Realty today. Tell him I sent you. 317-755-4232. 317-755-4232. Online, markdietel.com. That's markdietel.com today.
Do you have chronic joint pain, knees hurting, hips aching? Well, it's time to think about an exciting new way to treat joint pain with biological therapies, regenerative solutions. I'm talking about QC Kinetics. This is Kevin Bowen, and I know lots of people that have already called QC Kinetics. They are the leader in helping people deal with chronic pain with no surgery, no drugs, no steroids, and no downtime. These natural pain treatments can actually repair and restore damaged tissue in your joints with long-lasting results. Call QC Kinetics to learn more. 463-235-7160. If you have joint pain due to arthritis, lower back pain, shoulder, hips, or knee pain, you need to change the way you think about pain treatments and discover the biological therapies at QC Kinetics. Get moving again. Get your life back with no surgeries, no drugs. Call QC Kinetics now to learn more. 463-235-7160. That's 463-235-7160.
When we at AmericanEagle.com were asked by our client, Repair Clinic, to, repair their website, our digital marketing experts, like Tim, rolled up their sleeves and got to work. If you know Tim, you know that he loves a good challenge, which meant that this project was pretty much the highlight of Tim's year. From improving slow-loading performance that plagued our client's site to slashing duplicate pages and building an optimized sitemap, Tim was like a real-life action hero, but of website optimization. And our client reaped the benefits with major strides in their SEO, like more traffic, impressions, and revenue. Tim and the team even helped them create search and email marketing campaigns and better ongoing analytics tracking. However complex your digital challenges, from digital marketing and strategy to web development, UX, and more, talk to the experts at AmericanEagle.com. Don't just grow, soar.
Sign up today at BetMGM and enjoy the thrill of victory on your very first bet. The King of Sportsbooks welcomes you to Showtime with the lock of the year. Simply place a $10 moneyline wager on any pro football team, and if any team scores a touchdown on Sunday, you'll win $200 in free bets regardless of your bet's outcome. Just use bonus code TheFan200 when you make your first bet to take advantage of this offer. That is TheFan200, all one word, capital T, capital F, and enjoy football like never before with BetMGM's live betting options, boosted odds specials, and daily promotions at your fingertips all season long. So download the app or go to BetMGM.com and use the bonus code. Again, that's TheFan200 to win $200 in free bets if any pro football team scores a touchdown on Sunday. Nothing beats a W at BetMGM. New customer offer, paid in free bets. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Indiana only, must be 21 or older to wager. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
You've been lied to by corrupt Washington politicians and the Wall Street propaganda machine. Hi, I'm Inc. magazine best-selling author Brett Kitchen, and I want to give you a free copy of my brand new book, Wealth Beyond Wall Street, because we all know another market crash could be right around the corner. After losing 35% in my IRA in the crash years ago, I said enough, and since then I discovered a way to grow money potentially double digits, reduce taxes dramatically, and also have my money protected when the next stock market crash hits. When the next market crash hits, you lose nothing. Call Wealth Beyond Wall Street now to to get your free copy and talk with a specialist to discover this little-known strategy to get potential double-digit growth during good years and never lose when the next stock market crash hits, all while building a tax-advantaged retirement. Call 800-503-2828 to discover this asset that people like Walt Disney and JCPenney use to grow wealthy. Plus, get one of just 97 free books left. We even cover shipping and handling, no credit card required. Call 1-800-503-2828. 1-800-503-2828. That's 1-800-503-2828.
Did you know there's dust floating around your home?
Really?
Yeah. Dust starts on hard surfaces like shelves and ceiling fans. And when you walk by, dust starts to move, compromising the quality of the air you and your family breathe.
So, what do I do?
Get Swiffer Heavy Duty Duster. Swiffer Heavy Duty Duster is the fast and easy way to trap and lock dust.
Before it gets into the air.
Exactly. So you can just... Swiffer Heavy Duty Duster, proud partner of the American Lung Association.
Your support helps the Red Cross be there every day for disasters big and small. Make your donation today by calling 1-800-RED-CROSS or by visiting redcross.org.
It's never too early for football.
Yeah, it's too early.
It's the Way Too Early pregame show on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
What? It is the Way Too Early pregame show. Eddie Garrison. That's a soundbite. I love it. Our final time here on the Way Too Early pregame show. Happy Halloween to y'all. One more time. I'm Batman. I got the cowl on today. It's beautiful. I hope you're dressing up. Of course, having your Colts blue on as well. But I hope you're dressing up today. Get loud and raucous at Lucas Oil Stadium for Colts Titans. Real quick, let's play the Dak Prescott. Actually, no, let's go Ezekiel Elliott looking to have no hangover from the bye when they face the Vikings tonight.
I think we just got to make sure that we come back and not miss a beat. We just got to come back and just continue to play good football. Our focus every week is to get better every week. So, we just got to grow from that last game we had in New England and, just keep coming a better team.
Can't let a bye hangover approach, particularly for the Cowboys playing so well, and you might not have Dak Prescott. That hasn't officially been announced, correct? That's still up in the air?
Technically speaking, yes. Schefter reported around 6:30 this morning that there's a growing belief within the Dallas Cowboys organization that Cooper Rush will be the guy starting tonight.
All right, so there you go. Real quickly, Chiefs-Giants. Chiefs favored by 9.5. Patrick Mahomes knows he has to be better.
Oh, of course you would throw this in there.
I assumed you'd be ready for it.
We talk about different things, just considering the game that we played before. Nothing unusual. He always just give me things I can work on to get better. And he did that this week, obviously. We have to find a way to. I have to find a way to play better so our offense can get going.
He's aware. He's still putting up great numbers. Just the turnovers have got to be a little bit better. Not all of those are on him. That's all I'll say on the matter. Go Chiefs. Eddie, your prop bets you really like today in the NFL.
Okay, so I've got a few. I've got a little more than typical. Here's 4 that I'll give you. The rest will be on my Twitter at Eddie Garrison _. 2 Bengals plays for me. Jamar Chase over 27.5 for his longest reception, and Joe Burrow over 37.5 for his longest completion. Chase has hit that line in every game. His nearest hit is 34 yards. That's like money in the bank to me. And then Burrow's hit it in 5 of 7 games, if I remember correctly. I have a play in the Colts-Titans game. Carson Wentz over 1.5 passing touchdowns. He's hit this in 4 consecutive weeks. And then Big Ben Roethlisberger. I'm taking the under on his passing yards. I got it at 256.5. I've seen it at 254.5. I'm comfortable playing it there, but anything below 254.5 scares me, and I would not play it there.
Plays that I like today, I am going to take and lay the 4.5 on the Los Angeles Chargers. Sure, the Patriots had a great scoring output, I believe, a week or so ago, but that was against the New York Jets. Chargers are one of the best teams in football, particularly up front on the defensive side of things, so I'm going to lay the 4.5 there. I'm also going to lay the 4.5 on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the New Orleans Saints. Even though it's in New Orleans, Tampa Bay just feels like they're on another level right now. I'm going to go that way. Also, if Baker Mayfield plays, and I apologize, I don't have that in front of me, I would lay the 3.5, 4.5 for the Browns if Baker plays today against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Prediction for the Colts, 28-24 Titans. Eddie, your thoughts real quick?
First of all, I know we got to make this quick. We need to come up with a second beer bet real quick. You lost last week.
Second beer bet. Let's make it Browns Steelers regardless of if Baker plays. I'm going Browns.
Oh, dang it. I guess I'm forced to take the Steelers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Fun game there. Thanks, everybody. We'll have JMV here in a little bit for the countdown to kickoff and the ride to kickoff as well. Join us next week, 10 to noon, as we react to the Jets and Colts Thursday night football game. This has been the Way Too Early pregame show. Happy Halloween, 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
Find the right hire right now. Indeed helps you attract, screen,